Hi guys! I thought I would do a really fun chatty video today where I just get to talk about the decks that I'm loving using lately. So these aren't necessarily my all-time favorite decks. That's definitely something that I would love to share at some point as well. But these are the ones that I've been using the most recently because I feel like their energies are really in alignment with what it is my collective needs, as well as what it is that I personally need. So in saying that, I've got two decks that I've been reaching for lately to work with collective energies and to get really straightforward messages for the collective. And then I've got two decks that I've been using personally, that I've personally felt attracted to, that have been giving me really good readings for myself at this time. And what normally happens that I've noticed is that as energies shift and change and flow into each other, the decks that I feel called to work with also flow and shift and change. So I don't know how long I will be working with these decks, but this is what we've got for now. So we're going to, let me move these out of the way, and we'll start with the first deck. Just want to keep it focused. So first thing you'll notice is I keep a crystal with all of my decks. I have a crystal that I kind of use as a token to tap into the energy. So just put that to the side. I will come back and talk about her later though. Don't feel like I'm leaving her out. It makes more sense to probably talk a bit about the actual energy of the deck first, and then I'll come back to you, okay? So this is the book, just so you can see what the deck is and what the artwork looks like. This is the Lemurian Starchild Oracle. And this is what I've been going to as my collective energy, just how I felt that energy coming through in the past. I think I've been working with this deck for a few weeks now, perhaps a bit longer. I mean, this deck is somewhat in constant use by me, but lately it's literally every collective reading I've been pulling from it. I feel like ever since right after the Lion's Gate, so right after August 8th, everything really shifted straight into this super earthy energy. Before that, it was very cosmic and ungrounded, and then I've gone straight into like this beautiful earth energy. So I'll share with you some of the beautiful artwork in this deck. Let me think about how to do this. Sorry, guys. And yeah, I mean, lately, there just seems to be this huge call to awakening going on within the collective, to our roots of where our humanity, as we know it now, or as we understand it now, really formed and started. And obviously this will resonate for some and perhaps not others, but I'm in a really special place right now where I've got quite a small following, which when tapping into collective energies is quite beautiful because it's very directed. So I do think if you are watching this, you know, you'll be in alignment with that understanding or inner standing that you know, humanity has been evolving for such a long time. So as you can see, the artwork is just, every single card is absolutely stunning. And every single card has got so many layers within it. And I love using these collectively because there's just, every piece is truly a channeled piece of work. So there's so much going on in this card, right? There's light codes in it. And the messages just jump out at you for every single card. You've got all the coding in her wings, the light. I'm not gonna show you every single card, but I just want you to really get a feel for the deck. And yeah, like I said, ever since Lionsgate, the Lemurian energies have really been coming in strongly. I won't say too much about it, but I do think that there is it's no coincidence, these fires that are going on, that started on the Lionsgate in Hawaii. And it does feel like some sort of attack on the grid lines. And we'll just leave it at that. And you can probably do a deep dive on that if that is of interest to you. But I would also be careful because there is a lot of distortion around that. So just definitely make sure anything that you look into, you don't lean into fear, because that's definitely not serving us. That's all I'll say about that. Anyway, to the beautiful, beautiful crystal, not to make light of that situation because it is definitely serious. But yeah, so this is the crystal that I like to keep paired with my deck. It's funny looking at it from this angle. I personally see the form of the goddess in her profile. If you can just see like a face, an arm, and then this is like her body, like as if she was just in this beautiful flowing dress. Oh, I love that. This is actually I believe it's called a Dreamcoat Lemurian. And this piece carries it's like the energy of a point, because it is its own crystal point. But I really feel like it also has the root energies in it. As you can see that it was really somewhat more of a host rock for lots of other points that used to be attached to it. And I believe that it carries wisdom that it's learned from each individual point that has grown up and broken off of it with time. So I love that, and I love pairing that with my Lemurian deck. Let me just make sure that focuses back down there. Whoop. So the next deck that I've been working with, and this has been, I'll pull out one of these just so you can see, right? This has been with my Lemurian deck, and this is the Star Child Tarot. I've actually pulled the box out because the book doesn't really, it does say on the side, but that doesn't really help in showing. And this is I believe it's called the Rose Portal edition. So the Star Child Tarot has a few editions of the same deck, but the backing is different. I believe there's two other, I'm sure there's 3 editions, and one of them is blue and one of them is pink, and then I'm not sure what's different about the third. And I think there are a few differences in a few of the cards. This is the one that I felt most attracted to buying. I did watch a lot of flip through comparisons of the decks that are available on YouTube, but that was a little while ago, so I don't really remember. But this tarot deck pairs so beautifully, as you can see, with the Lemurian Star Child Oracle. And it's so funny because this is the Lemurian Star Child, and then this is the Star Child Tarot. So you've got that Star Child, Star Child. And they're very different energies because the Lemurian deck is obviously very grounded into these earth energies. And then the Star Child Tarot is actually much more of an etheric feel to it. Although there's a lot of etheric energy in this deck. But I kind of feel like they actually have a balancing effect when they work together, as you get this really earthy energy with this really cosmic energy. And she does, is her name on here? Hold on. Here we go. So this is by Danielle Noel. Danielle Noel does have another tarot deck called the Moonchild Tarot. And the Moonchild Tarot is meant to be much more earthy. But I really like this one with this deck, personally. So even though the Moonchild, she does have like an earthier deck to work with, I really love these two together. And you will see that I could pull literally any card from this deck. And the energies just work together. And we'll even, let's pull another random card, right? It's funny because this was actually in one of my, I think on my Instagram, a collective reading that I did. So it's funny that I've just pulled that out again. And actually, I've got another card just peeking. I have 2 cards peeking out. So let's pull them. Oh, I love this. You can just see how, is this gonna, let's just cover that one for now. I'm trying to keep things in frame, but I'm also guessing because I can't see what's in frame right in this moment. But you can see how beautifully they pair together. So let's focus on the Star Child Tarot. Now what I like to do, or how I work, is I'll pull an oracle card. Sometimes more than one might come out, right? But this is when I'm just trying to do a quick direct message. I pull an oracle card and then I pull a tarot card, and the tarot card helps to bring direction to the oracle card. And I have, if you've watched my collective readings recently, you'll see me using these decks. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm also at Nath's Garden, and I've been using these 2 decks together a lot, and you can get a better understanding on what I mean when I say that the tarot can really give direction to an oracle card. So what I find is oracle cards are great to get, to work with energies that you're really attracted to, like more of your niche curiosities, you know, the things that you're really into that make you happy, right? Your interests. And then tarot decks, which follow more of a system, like an exacting system, they help guide and give direction to oracle decks, as oracle decks can tend to be a lot more, I don't want to say vague, because actually this deck, the book, has a lot. It's not vague at all. These cards do give really direct readings on their own, but a lot of tarot decks can be quite vague. Not tarot decks, sorry. Oracle decks can be quite vague. And I find that introducing a tarot card to really give direction to the energy is so helpful, and it unlocks the specific meaning of the card, because you could pull a card and you can get so much out of it, and then you pull a tarot card next to it and it just zooms it in to the exact message that you're meant to hear. So I always love pairing tarot with oracle. That's how I read. Right, so I think you can see how beautiful both of these decks are. And this is just the energy stream that really, really is matching in with the collective that I have been working with. Every time I pull from these two decks together, I get a bunch of names of my friends group, people I know, like pop into my mind of who I feel needs to hear that message, which is funny, but that's just the nature of a collective reading. Oh, and let me talk about my beautiful crystal that I have paired with this. So this is a hollandite in quartz point, and it's super bitty tiny, but it is so powerful. So hollandite in quartz, if you can see, it's these beautiful little star formations within the quartz, and that's just how the hollandite forms within quartz. Let me go back down here. And this crystal's energy is perfect, really perfect, if you feel an affinity for working with the star Sirius, right? But also any kind of star seed energy at all. If you want to tap into that part of you, this is a really perfect crystal to work with. So the formation that you get within of the hollandite is actually the same shape that they used in hieroglyphs to signify Sirius in Egypt. So they used this starfish looking star, and that was Sopdet or Sothis or Sirius. Yeah, and I love having it with this deck, the Star Child Tarot, as I just feel this has such a star-seeded energy within the tarot. And I think that's what makes this tarot so special, because there are lots of oracle decks out there with that starseed energy in it. You know, this Lemurian Star Child oracle included, but there's not so much out there in the tarot world, I feel personally, that really draws upon those energies as well. So I'm going to put this to the side and we'll go on to my next two decks. So for my personal readings, right, I'll pull this over for a second, but then I'm going to get it right back out of the frame. So for my personal readings, this is what I've been working with. And I really don't remember how long I've been working with these two decks. I just know that they've been living on my altar for my own personal readings for, I want to say at least a couple months now. I'm not sure if this is making it in frame, so I want to push this up. Let's stand up and look. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, beautiful. So this is the Sibyl's Oraculum. I have felt so attracted and interested in learning about this, basically the black sun energy is how I understand it. This idea of a black sun, or this idea of the black mother creator goddess. So this energy stream for me, right, it includes deities or gods, goddesses such as Mami Wata, obviously Cybele. Like this is the Sibyl's Oraculum, but I feel like originally it was like Cybele or Sybil. Athena, obviously Nath, who everything that I do is like branded under. So you've got Nath, Isis as well, also coming out of ancient Kemet. Sekhmet for sure. Durga, Kali. I know I'm leaving so many out. The Black Madonna, right? They're all coming from, to me, as far as I'm concerned, they're all coming from the same energy stream, from the same impulse that exists in our cosmos, right? So people can argue all day about whether they exist at all, whether it's the same person when you talk about one deity compared to the next. I don't think they're the same person, but I think that they're pulling from the same energy stream and they're pulling higher up, or not higher up, but like more to the central point of that energy stream, which is why they are really looked at as these angelic beings, ascended masters. You know, they're viewed in all different ways, aren't they? I'm going on tangents already. So I've been really attracted to understanding this energy stream and this deck. My goodness. So we'll get into the artwork. I'll be honest, I don't love the artwork. The pictures themselves actually do have quite a bit in them. When I say I don't like it, it's because I have found personally that it's a bit hard for me to make out the imagery. It doesn't really jump when I'm looking at them. This mosaic style that they've gone with and the muted color tones, I just have personally found it quite hard to get what the image is. Like this, to me, you can barely tell what's going on. Like, yes, you can understand and pick it up if you really like stare at it, but when you're working with intuition and wanting things to jump out at you, this doesn't necessarily work very well. That being said, the cards themselves and the meanings that they hold from the book are so strong and so incredibly direct. This is not a deck to work with for the faint of heart, because this is like a very, you want to work with your shadow energies and understand yourself on a deeper level. This is a good deck. If that kind of stuff is hard for you to face, this is not a good deck, because it is sharp. It is a sharp-tongued deck. This is like the mother that loves you deeply, and because of that will tell you every little thing about you that you could improve to make yourself better. And it's out of a place of love, because they want you to be your best version of yourself, but they will hold nothing back in letting you know. So the messages attached to these cards are incredible. And if they were not so good, I don't think I could work with this deck. But yeah, they are really great. But I kind of feel like I don't even, like, I feel like it's pointless showing you these cards, because I don't even know how much you guys can make out. Maybe it's just me. Maybe other people have no problem picking up the imagery in the cards. Maybe it's just something that I have an issue with. But yeah, it has been a really, really great deck to work with. And I have had this on my altar for my personal quick readings when I just want a really direct message, for at least a couple months, maybe even longer. I'm not really sure. Before I grab the other deck, let's talk a little bit about this beautiful
crystal. You know, I had to actually stop filming for a second because I just was realizing that this is not, and this is what's so funny because sometimes these things happen and you don't even know why. But basically, this is not the crystal that I normally keep with this deck. So what's happened is somewhere along the line, I've mixed these up, and that is so interesting. So I'll have to have a think about why I've done that. But normally, this is the crystal that I keep with this deck. And this is blue kyanite. And I think it's even funny that obviously I'm so distracted just talking in general that it took me a second, more than a second, it took me quite a few seconds to realize that something was just not right. And then I had to sit and think about that because obviously, because I've been working with these two decks together, right? Both of these stones have been working with both of these decks consistently for the past 2 to 3 months. And I am very much somebody who can find meaning in lots of things. So I'm actually interested to kind of lean into and try to understand why this has happened. But I'll talk about why I've picked this crystal to go with this deck. So this is blue kyanite, and it is quite similar to the blue apatite in that it's like a dark, this is a very like indigo blue, quite gemmy piece. And kyanite is great for bridging energy. So let me make sure I'm back down here. This crystal, blue kyanite, I really feel has an affinity with the energy of Neith in particular. Well, I'm sure with lots of deities, but because I work with Neith so much and her energy stream, I really feel like kyanite is a stone that I've been guided to work with through the guidance I've received through that energy stream. And I have a lot of blue kyanite in my house. I love kyanite. I have a lot of blue kyanite, black kyanite, green kyanite, orange kyanite. I love kyanite. And basically what it is it's an energy that bridges. So it bridges you to your underworld. So you can bring those messages up and work through them and face them and do what you need to do. And it bridges you to your upper world to bring in that connection with your higher self and everything that you have to learn in that sphere. So I really see kyanite as this linking point that we can use to energetically go on these journeys. And we can go on these journeys in any direction using kyanite. And because it has such a strong affinity with Neith, that's why I've been using it with my Sibyl's Oracle, because this deck in particular is the one that I have that I really feel is influenced by the energy that Neith encompasses. So this is the crystal that I always feel most drawn to working with Neith's energy with. And then this is the deck that I use to work with her energy. Except, like I said, obviously when I started this video, they were mixed up for some reason. And that's how I just had pulled them off of my altar. And to be honest, I'm not really sure how long it's been like that. I don't think long, but it's just funny. I feel like it's jumbled up my brain for a second because my head wants to jump to that and try to understand that, but I'm trying to put that to the side so I can finish this video. Right. So we've got last deck, and this will be a quickie, easy one to talk about because this is the Rider-Waite-Smith. This is like your most basic tarot
that I think this is what most people think of when they think of tarot. So super basic, but incredibly direct, because the Rider-Waite-Smith is so popular, right, and so well known. There's so many books on it, and there are fairly agreed upon. Obviously, every person has their own individualized twist, but there are fairly agreed upon meanings for each card and the energy that it's bringing through, because the Rider-Waite Tarot, or the tarot in general, tells a story, right? And so this other deck that we've got, this is actually, it does follow the Rider-Waite system. Most tarot decks do. Not all of them, there are other systems, but it does follow this system, but, well, actually, this is strength is number 11, so it's technically not Rider-Waite. That would be Marseille, but they're similar. Some people might hate me for saying that. The energy in the cards is the same, pretty much. But when you introduce different artwork, even though it's following the same system, it kind of brings in a different energy, right? It directs it in a slightly different way. So going with the Rider-Waite-Smith, it brings in your most classical interpretations. It brings in like the most basic, direct answers attached to each card. So this is the Four of Wands, and this is the Four of Wands energy, and it's not guided in any other specific way that another tarot deck might bring in with its own individual artwork. I hope this is making sense, but you can see, if I just kind of pull from these two together, how well they pair. So I love that this is a super cutthroat, direct deck. And then because the Rider-Waite-Smith can give you such direct answers and direction, it just super hyper focuses the guidance that comes through. So it's really good when I just want a really quick 2-card reading, and it gives me not always the messages I want to hear, because like I said, they can be quite sharp, right? Oh, this is actually perfect, because this is I'll pull this one back out, right? So this is like the same card from another deck, but it's a different energy that comes through, right? Because in this one, she's like really subduing the lion. Like she's got his face in her hands, right? Like she's really controlling him to find this balance. But in this one, it doesn't feel so much like she's controlling the lion as she's just in this natural balance with him, right? Like she's just got comfort and stillness with the lion. It's like the same card but different. I hope that makes sense. But these are very direct, agreed upon messaging, right? There's like, it just works. Together I just get like super, I guess basically what it is if I'm doing a reading for myself, there's a lot more space for me to find bias, right? Because if I get a message I don't want to hear, then I'll find something in the cards, not purposefully. This is just something we would all do when we're working with ourselves, or if we've got biases, right? And we all have biases, period. But but I'll like try to find, my brain will just naturally try to find a way to give me the message that I want to hear, right? Because this is what we do. And this deck, these two together don't really let me do that. There's not really any wiggle room because this is super direct. This is super direct. And when I bring these two together, it like narrows it down to such a pinpointed message that it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess, ooh, I'll do that. Like I might not be comfortable with it, but that's where the work gets done. Do you know what I mean? So I love these two decks together. So back to my Blue Apatite, which I'd started talking about earlier, and then it totally threw me off. Blue Apatite, I have this paired with my Rider-Waite because this is just the most perfect energy to align with when you want to work with your you know, your pineal gland, your third eye, your inner intuition. It really taps into this higher knowing. It brings you in contact with your higher self, right? To bring through the messaging that's beneath the surface, that's hidden behind the veil. This is actually a piece of Blue Apatite that I keep on my tarot desk because that's how important the Blue Apatite energy is for me in working with my intuition and reading, you know, reading tarot cards and oracle cards and getting the messages from them that need to come through. Like this is one that really, you got your surface message that you could read about in any book, you know, the guidebooks that come with the decks. But this really helps to bring in the messages that are underneath, that are more hidden, you know, that need extraction through your intuition. So I love working with Apatite. That's why I have this big chunky piece right here on my desk. Ooh, knocking bottles over. Okay. But I keep this one specifically with my Rider-Waite to imbue this deck with those energies normally, except obviously there's been some crossover at some point. I love it though. I love when these little things happen that I want to try and understand. Anyway, I have been blabbing for so long and I meant for this to be such a quick video, but I'm not very good at that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to do more of these. I mean, I'm super, actually, talking about crystals has really motivated me to maybe do more of that. So hopefully, you know, I can get some videos out on that. Because I have different crystals that, just like I have decks that I'm guided to work with at a time, I have, like this is actually the right here. These are the crystals that I'm currently working with. And the crystal energies that I work with shift and change generally more often. So sometimes over the course of a week, sometimes even just a few days, there are crystals that I work with for months. But yeah, you know, I could do like what crystals I'm working with lately and why. Even like the jewelry that I wear, like I've been wearing these bracelets and rings for a while now, but I have a whole selection of bracelets and rings and necklaces and earrings, but I tend to reach for the same ones for a long period of time before I shift energy and then go to another. Yeah, my brain is spinning now. I've got all these ideas of things that I could do for future videos. So anyway, let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys for my next video. Bye.